Hey YouTubers, this is Richard with you again, and I'm coming at you with this week's Gravekeeper deck profile. Made some changes this week. Like you heard last week, the side deck was heavily reconstructed. It's ready to show you guys, but we'll get there in due course. So let's get into it with this week's Gravekeeper deck profile. I actually thought about a name for the deck this week and finally came up with what I want to call the Gravekeeper's Magic Tricks. Alright, here we go. Monster lineup is going to be 3 Gravekeeper's Commandant. Search your Necro Valley. 3 Spies. Everybody knows that you set your Spies, and then when they get flipped face up, you search your deck for a Gravekeeper with 1500 or less attack to special summon. It includes great things like Shaman and this next card, the Recruiter. 3 Recruiters still. Love this card. When it goes to the graveyard, except for being detached as XYZ material, then you search your deck for a Gravekeeper monster with 1500 or less defense and add it to your hand. 2 ups. Got 2 Descendants still. Can't get away from 2. Thought about moving it down to 1 for a while, but didn't. If I moved anything down to 1, it's going to be the Heretic, but I did not do that this week. Next week, might be a different story though. And then still sticking with 1 Gravekeeper's Assailant, 1 Gravekeeper's Shaman, and 1 Gravekeeper's Visionary to end the main deck monster lineup. I've been loving Visionary. People have been really shocked to see it come out and really annoyed when they can't get rid of it. And I think the highest I've gotten his attack up to today is 49. Spells next. Got 3 of my Necro Valley. And 2 of the Gravekeeper's Stele. And I actually took Royal Tribute back out of the main deck. Wasn't working. Ended up being really hard card to play a lot of the times. Just drawing it mid-game when you're trying to grind, you don't really need it. It's not that you don't need it, but you have a hard time using it. And so I side decked it again. And then moving on, we got 2 of the Magical Dimensions still. Just love this card. It puts in so much work in this deck. When you draw it, you just feel great that you draw it. Unless, of course, the odd time's over when you can't use it, which seldom to none. 2 Mystical Space Typhoons. A Wonder Wand. And a Book of Moon to end the main deck. Spells. And moving on to the main deck, traps. 2 of the Imperial Tombs. I actually took the 3rd one out this week. And I took the 3rd one out so I could play test a Wiretap in the main deck. Haven't looked back, really. Don't miss the 3rd Imperial Tombs. And it was in my side deck for a few days before I took it out of the side deck completely. I'm only running 2 Imperial Tombs in this deck right now. 2 Rites of Spirit. Special summon Gravekeepers from my graveyard and keep my monsters on the field. 2 Fiendish Chain. By now, staple trap. Starlight Road made it back to the main deck. As did Magician's Circle. I've been really liking Magician's Circle because of Shaman, really. I've not been afraid to bust out my Shaman and lock down things like Fire and Ice Hand, and just, it's a really nice effect in this deck. Mirror Force, 1 of them, and 1 Black Hornet Heaven. And then the 4 one-offs, the Bottomless Trap Hole, Solemn Warning, Torrential Tribute, and Compulse to end the main deck at 42 cards. Moving on to the extra deck. Going to be a Stardust Dragon for Starlight Road's effect and the side deck. A Cyberin Dragon for the special summon of a Malefic Cyberin Dragon. The number 101 Silent Honor Arc. It's going to be a pretty powerful XYZ in this deck just because you can make it with all the level 4s. And it's good because it can take things like Draco Sack or A-Tomb or any XYZ that you need to get around off the field and protect itself while it does it. The Wind-Up Zenmeister. Maystroke Symphony Djinn. Utopia. Gaga Cowboy. Thought about taking out Utopia for a second Gaga Cowboy. Haven't made the move yet, though. Number 85, Crazy Box for things like Skill Drain. And this card is probably going to see a lot of work this week at locals. Evil Swarm Nightmare. The Photon Papler Operative. Number 50, Black Ship of Corn. 2 of the number 66 Master Key Beetles. The Diamond Direwolf. And I actually decided to add a rank 3. It's going to be Leviair the Sea Dragon, because it can return any one of my monsters from the Banish Zone except for Shaman and Visionary. That's going to do it for the extra deck. Now moving on to my newly worked side deck. It's going to start with my Dark Hole and the Royal Tribute. Then an Overworked. 1 Cursed Seal of the Forbidden Spell. 1 Deck Devastation Virus. 1 Light Imprisoning Mirror. And 2 copies of Skill Drain. I've had a lot of trouble against Hieratics for a long time. Well, for the past month or so. They're getting popular. I think people are practicing with them. Practicing with Scrap Dragon. Getting ready for things like Pendulum Summoning to come out. So graveyard-rich decks are a thing. And monster effects are a thing right now. And Skill Drain, I think, is a really good card for this anti-meta deck right now. And you'll see that with Skill Drain, I'm also bringing my Malefic Cyberin Dragon and my Malefic Stardust Dragon back. The reason why is because if I have to side in Skill Drain, I'm also siding in one of these dragons or both, because with Skill Drain on board, my dragons can stay on field even if my Necros Valley's gone, and they can attack along with my other monsters. So I can't wait to test out my Malefic Cyberin Dragon attacking for 4,000 right behind my Descendant attacking for 2 and my Heretic attacking for 18 because Skill Drain's on board. Thunder King Ryo, the Fossil Dyna, an Effect Veiler, a Gravekeeper's Oracle, and a Dark Bribe for now. That's going to do it for this week's deck profile, guys. If you like the changes I made, let me know by leaving a comment. If you have any criticisms or suggestions, also let me know by leaving a comment. And if you like this video, make sure you subscribe for weekly Gravekeeper deck profiles and discussions on Yu-Gi-Oh! Card game strategy. Give me a thumbs up if you like this again, and have a good night, you YouTubers. This is Richard, signing off.